This meeting is being recorded.
Right. So, welcome everybody to the annual joint meeting between the Future Technical Communicators Club and the Florida chapter of the Society for Technical Communication. So, I'm John Clement, the president of FTC at UCF, and my co-host tonight is Jessalyn Parrish, the secretary of the STC Florida chapter. And together we're going to be the facilitators of today's meeting. And before we begin, yes, we have the power now, for a little bit at least. So before we begin, please mute yourselves to avoid picking up any background noise just in case. And also let us know in chat if you have any technical difficulties and we'll promptly look into them. And we'll be picking up any questions and things along the way too, if you want to drop them in the chat. And so tonight we are celebrating more than 2 decades of FTC at UCF, 20 whole years, a little bit over 20 years. And it's wonderful to see and welcome so many names and faces from the club, from STC Florida too, from all ranges of career paths and education, from current students to founding members who we're going to be hearing a bit from today. And if you are or were an FTC member, let us know when you graduated or will be graduating in the chat too. I know that we saw a large range of people who are from FTC's history and people who are going to be graduating this semester in the future. So it'd be great just to drop that in the chat. And we're so happy to have you join us, and we look forward to having you learn from all our panelists today, who are all just really amazing, great technical communicators, great leaders, great people. And I especially want to thank everyone who is our presenter tonight for joining the call and being part of this event too. We really do appreciate it, and we can't wait to hear from you too. So here's an agenda for tonight's event. We have a few announcements to share at the start of the program from both the FTC and STC side, and we want to share a little bit of information about each organization as well. We recognize that some of you have been in each group and some of you are new, and some of you just may hear about an interesting opportunity happening and be pushed to join one of them. So we want to just formally introduce the Future Technical Communicators Club, as well as the Florida chapter of the Society for Technical Communication. And on that note, I'll be passing it off to Jessalyn to introduce STC Florida.
Hello, thank you, John. So a big welcome to everyone from FTC Florida. As John said, I'm Jessalyn. I'm currently secretary for the Florida chapter, and we're really glad you're here. So we're the Florida chapter of the Society of Technical Communication, which advances the theory and practice of technical communication. Interpret that as you will. We're proud of our close ties to UCF through Future Technical Communicators, which have fostered student to professional transitions and enabled our members and visitors to benefit from learning from each other at every level of the experience. And next slide, please. Perfect. Okay, so on this slide, you'll see many opportunities that we have here. I encourage anybody and everybody to consider getting involved with STC. To my knowledge, they don't bite, so don't be scared. And if you are a student or early professional looking to get published, check out memos to members. We are always looking for submissions. We're always excited to talk to people that want to get a piece published. So get your writing out there. It grows your potential for professionalism. There is no reason for none of you to publish a memo to members, and that is not a threat, just an encouragement. So, and this is why no one lets me publicly speak. But anyway, less aggressively. So there are several volunteer roles. Whatever you're interested in, there's probably a volunteer role for it. We're always sharing employment information. There's also the STC Summit. If you're looking to get involved and meet people at a national level, I encourage everyone who's interested to look at information for this year's STC Summit happening in Chicago from May 15th to 18th. Let's see, and also for any students out there, I will point out you can volunteer at STC Summit in exchange for free registration. I did that last year. It was a great experience. They're a great bunch of people, so I encourage it. And tonight, the chapter is pleased to announce 2 recipients of one of STC's highest honors of service. I'm going to hand it over to Alex Garcia to announce the recipients and share the citations for the awards.
Thank you, Jesslyn. Bethany, were you still going to share the presentation?
Yes,
Okay.
sorry, Kat intervened. I'm ready. Should be up.
Okay. So the Distinguished Chapter Service Awards are the Society for Technical Communications highest honor. They are given once per member status. So once at the student level and once at the chapter level. And the Distinguished Chapter Community Service Award recognizes the hard work and commitment of STC's community's leaders. This is the highest level of recognition that a member can receive for service to the community. So the STC Florida chapter is proud to present the Distinguished Chapter Service Award for 2022 to the following people. So our Distinguished Chapter Service Award for 2022 at the chapter level goes to Nick Ducharme for your abiding service, technical skills, and proactive leadership that strengthened our member engagement and provided support to the chapter leadership team. We want to thank Nick for all of his contributions to the chapter. From a personal note, I was Nick's mentor as he went up the ranks in STC, and I'm very, very proud of where he is in his career now. When STC Florida everybody went into the pandemic, we were able to flip the switch almost immediately thanks to Nick's contributions. He got us set up with the virtual environments. We were able to engage our members via Zoom and virtually. So we do want to recognize Nick. The society is still working on the certificate. So Nick, you will receive a certificate when the society makes those available. But we did want to recognize you here in front of your peers, in front of the FTC community. We want to thank you for your service. I don't know if you wanted to come off mute and say something, or if we want to put you on the spot.
Wow. Thank you so much, Alex. And also to everyone, who's here or who's not here, but is here in spirit, and that I've had the honor to work with. I couldn't have gotten this far in my career without all the networking and collaboration that FTC and STC have afforded. So thank you again to each and every one of you.
Absolutely. And once again, Nick, you will be receiving a certificate from the society when they make those available to us. We will make sure to get that to you, so you can proudly display that. And so
Awesome.
we do have one more award tonight at the student level, Distinguished Chapter Service Award student. Next slide. And that goes to John Clement. And the citation reads, for your enthusiastic and inspiring engagement of fellow technical communication students, exemplary leadership, willingness to teach colleagues of all ages, and support of technical communication as a valuable and promising career choice. So we want to congratulate John at the Distinguished Chapter Service Award for students. Definitely, John has done a lot, both within the chapter and also at the society level. He's on many of the committees, the scholarship committee, the chapter, the community affairs committee that I serve on with him. And he's always willing to go the extra mile for all of the students around the society. So John, definitely congratulations from all of us. We hope to, the future is definitely bright. So definitely stay within STC, and the sky's the limit for you. If anybody else wants to say anything, feel free to come off mute.
I just want to say a huge thank you, both to you and to everybody too. I was not expecting this. It makes for a perfect graduation gift as I
Exactly.
start to transition to other places. But wow, I just really love this and appreciate this. Um, and a side note too, I like how that picture was chosen. I feel like it's a great
Yeah.
last semester in FTC. Got to end things strong.
How you'll be
Push it on to the next
remembered.
generation. I'll be remembered
Absolutely.
doing this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really appreciate it. And yeah, it's been amazing being in FTC and STC and hearing from Dr. Applin and everyone earlier, but especially Dr. Applin talking about how I first joined. At first, I was like, I don't know if I want to do this. And here I am now, and met a lot of really great people through it. And I just want to say thank you to everybody. It's been fantastic. I'll definitely be sticking around.
Excellent. So
And I
you
just
can
wanna
strive
say-
for the, yeah, go ahead.
As you say, if no one's seen John's presentations, they'll put yours to shame.
I will say
I
for
think we
that.
should make up an award. We should make up an award for the best PowerPoint presentations ever.
No, I will say
Slides.
for that, I learned from the best, that being Bethany. She put me on how to make PowerPoint presentation.
And you did a
John,
presentation on
if things
presentations.
ever financially for some reason go badly for you, just market yourself as a presentation.
You're not kidding. You wouldn't realize how many terrible presentations there are in the professional world. John is amazing.
So just quick thing, I think Lori Meyer was able to join. She was having some internet issues. Lori, did you want to come on and say a few words? Technology permitting?
Thank you. Yeah, Lucy wants to say a few words too. So you're going to hear meowing in the background, but it was my extreme pleasure to nominate John on behalf of our chapter board. I cannot think of a more qualified candidate to represent students for this honor. John, it's been an extreme pleasure to work with you. You're actually my teacher, and I have learned so much from you about what it means to be an engaged and involved student. And I believe that you are going to make tremendous contributions to our profession in the coming years. I hope STC will always be your lifetime partner. And I'm really glad to hear that you want to stick around with us, because I think the best is yet to come for you. So heartiest congratulations to you. And thank you for all that you have done, all that you have contributed, all that you have taught us, including me. And I wish you the best going forward. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Lori. What? Now I'm thinking, can I just, Jesselyn, can you handle the meeting so I can go off camera and just
I will, but I am warn you that I'm likely to turn it on its head. So if you want to see
that's
what
totally fine.
interesting things I do. Okay, so
Do
John
that,
is
just
stepping
like
away.
one of us could
I'm just gonna
join you.
retire early so I can go off camera and just this is one of those times when I wish it was in person so I could just well, thank you to Lori and Lucy. I wish I could give both of you a big hug. I know Lucy, it's always best to be having a meeting. You just gotta say, wish I could give everyone here a big hug. Just thank you, everybody. I really appreciate it. And now the next slide is me. Why do I have to present after that? Oh, I'm gonna do it though, of course, but wow.
John, do you want me to take it so you can have a sec?
No, you're good. And as Caitlin said in chat, you stay here, you have one job as president. You know what I do? I can't quit early. All right, so, well, thank you. So now about FTC. About FTC, what is FTC? FTC is a lot of things. FTC is a community, first and foremost. FTC is a place where people can find their calling in tech comm. It's a place where people can get involved in tech comm. It's a place where people with the same goals and passions can meet each other. And it's really just a place where everybody's love for the same craft and love for the same just feel really come together. And just love for each other too. We're always trying to raise each other up and just encourage each other to go towards opportunities. I mean, that's how all of us got into FTC, just one person pushing another person to an opportunity, or someone seeking an opportunity in tech comm has just led everyone who's in there to the club. And so mean, all that being said, at its as at its core, FTC is about helping students pursue careers in technical communication and really just find their calling. And just membership is free and open to everybody, absolutely everybody. We have so many ranges of people who are, I mean, represented in this call too, from different majors, different stages in their education or even their career. We recently have younger students joining us too. And so all in all, each year we want to celebrate FTC being what it is and our partnership with STC, just through an educational program like this and promoting the practice of technical communication. And I did want to pass it on to Dr. Applin to talk more about the club and just some details about it, but that was just a little bit about what FTC is and who we are. And I think Dr. Applin may be able to put it best, just a little bit about the history of the club and what our goal is and always has been.
Well, okay, and thank you, John. And again, I remember when John started, he was a freshman. I was talking about that earlier. He was in an honors 3241 course, and he seemed like he didn't think he could even do it, even just come to a meeting. And he's been president for quite a while, and a very good president, as the other people here tonight, Bonnie and Jen. And if I'm forgetting some other names, I apologize. So many great people. Alex has been in leadership. This again started, I talked about this earlier, Erica Olmstead and Bonnie, Bonnie's here, and Bob Whitley started this club 20 years ago. It's amazing. They came up with it. It was a student idea. And they asked me to sponsor it. And I said, sure, it sounds good. And I just really never thought it would go anywhere. It would just be something that lasted for a couple of years, maybe 3 years, and then it would die out. But people have always come along and picked it up and done leadership. And then Bonnie and Jen, I'm sorry.
It was all Bonnie. Bonnie was the starter of the mentorship program, right?
Right. Bonnie started the mentorship program, and that really gave FTC a stronger connection to STC, the local professionals. And we had great people in STC over the years. Dan Voss, W.C. Weiss, and so many others, Karen Lane. And they really liked our students, and they nurtured them. And there are so many people who have jobs, not because they aren't talented, but because they've been in FTC and have met people in STC. So the mentorship program has really been, the way I see it, as an essential core element of STC. And those of you who are here tonight who haven't taken part in the mentorship program, if you're juniors and you're going to be back next year, get into the mentorship program, get going on that, get a local mentor in STC to help you, because it'll help. The mentors who are the local STC Society TechCom professionals in the Central Florida region, they know lots of things that your big fancy professors don't know. Okay, we always think we know stuff. There's a lot of stuff we don't know. And so many of our students, again, have gotten jobs because of this relationship. So anyway, take advantage of that. There's only so many ways I can say that. I keep sending email to my colleagues to tell that to you. But and the other thing is next year we will go on, and John will graduate. So we will need some officers. So I'm going to ask you, if you're not an officer in FTC, if you consider being one. That's what we need to keep it going. We need 4 officers every year, and you don't have to spend all your time doing FTC stuff, but we do need officers to continue it. I can't think of a better thing. There's all these clubs at UCF, and so many of them are useless or silly, and then there's this one where people actually get real jobs and they can start their careers and have real lives. So anyway, so that's kind of my version of it. Also this year, Dr. Carolyn Glasshoff, who's here tonight, has co-sponsored it with me. This is the first year I've had a co-sponsor, and I'd like her to say a couple of things too, because she's been very helpful. So
I mean, like he said, we are doing this to try to help you get jobs. We want you to come. We want you to, be successful. We want to connect you with people. like everyone has said, John is amazing. He has done absolutely incredible things with this club while he's been in charge of it, but he needs someone to take up the mantle. So JD and I will probably be doing the same thing we did to some of the others of you and just going, you know what, you should just run, just do it. We want to keep this going. You guys are all amazing, and we think that you can do great things with this and then continuing on.
So thanks. I think we're done. So anyway, thanks, John.
Thank you, Dr. Alpin and Dr. Glasshoff. That will just be really exciting for the future of FTC, this through mentorship and through leadership and through all the opportunities that we have. I definitely recommend going for both. There are some mentees and mentors here in this call who have gotten so many great things out of the program. And just through FTC membership in general, and especially FTC leadership, that opens the doors to a lot of things too, even just involvement. It gets you really involved in the club and opportunities that we have coming up. And so on that note, actually, we do have some FTC opportunities that we want to share. And this is just a bit about what we do as a club and some things in specific we have coming up. We do weekly meetings on Zoom, just like this, sometimes with guest speakers and sometimes with professional development workshops. Other times they're just discussions or socials. We try to keep things varied, but have something to offer every time at least. And again, they're held online on Zoom. They're always free and they're open to everybody. Yes, everybody. So if you're on this call, you can join. If you're listening in on this from the recording, you can join. Anybody is welcome. So next week before spring break happens, we're gonna just cool down on things and have a game night online. So that'll be on Thursday. And after spring break, we're planning to have a guest speaker meeting with one of our other FTC alumni, actually, John Paz. He's been actively just involved in the club and just helping out students throughout the semester. And so he's going to be guest speaking with us another time after spring break. And past meetings are recorded on our YouTube channel. You can always check them out there. Also, the STC Summit, it was mentioned earlier. We just want to reiterate that. It's happening in May. It's a huge tech comm conference for any STC members to get together. And also there are lots of workshops, presentations that happen there. And it's really a trip worth going to. It's happening in Illinois on May 15th to 18th. Right now, we're pretty much on the tail end of getting all our interested members and everyone on our roster together. There's still tiny bit of time left. So we're hoping to finish off our roster by this weekend, just so we have a list of who we know wants to go. So if you're someone who was interested in going to the summit and told us already, please be sure to let us know just to confirm. And if you're just hearing this and want to attend, yeah, shoot the club a message, hop on our Discord or send us an email, reach out to any of the officers, and we'll definitely work with you. And we're hoping to get a good sized group going. And as we shared stories about earlier, getting funding from SDA. But we are definitely looking forward to pursuing that opportunity. Internships and job leads, we share those on our Discord, on our website, on social media. And we are actively encouraging students to just connect with us and make use of those opportunities. And we have just a lot of avenues for you to receive those. And leadership opportunities too. That was mentioned by Dr. Applin and Dr. Glasshoff. Leadership in FTC is a great gateway to just being more involved and really just helps the club be what it is. So definitely consider leadership as we transition into next year and into the next school year. There's a lot of opportunities in leadership to be had.
Yeah, also, being a leader in FTC, being an officer really that's another thing you can put on your resume. That's helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great portfolio builder too. Just being able to be a leader and participate in projects too. Like just being able to lead meetings, have those skills under your belt. It's really great to have. So leadership is great for both, not only the club, but for yourself and your own credentials as well. And so this is just a snapshot of some of our events. As I was talking about earlier, we tried to do a range of things. Last year we had, for our annual meeting, we had one similar to this, but with different guest speakers. That's about preparing for your career in tech comm. And throughout the year, also, we have other workshops on top of our core pillars that are the mentoring program, this annual meeting, things like that. We try to incorporate things like resume workshops, writing workshops, We had a workshop on the Adobe Creative Cloud that Caitlin put on last semester, which was great, talking about how to use those programs. I led one on Microsoft Word, and we really tried to have an array of things just so that in between our bigger meetings, we have things that you can latch onto and gain tech comm skills from. And this is just a snapshot of them, but we tried to put these on just for the benefit of our members. And if you come by to them, hopefully you enjoy and are able to make a lot of use of them. And finally, here are just some fun pictures of our community. So we try to do a lot of events, as we mentioned, and we have transitioned more to being online. And despite that, it's allowed a lot of interaction between members and events like this to happen. We get students from all the way over in Texas. We get professionals from all over the place coming into a meeting like this. So despite everything, we try to maintain that sense of community, and meetings like this, even though they're online, really show that it's worth it to really just be engaged with FTC and meet people, network, and make those connections, because no matter if it's virtual or in person, one goal of FTC and STC Florida is always to make those human connections, because that's where just your passion for tech comm can grow into something that's fulfilling and you get the most out of. And so these are just some pictures from some past annual meetings, some mentoring program meetups. We have some past and current members from in here. We have fun at these meetings, and just making lifelong connections, lifelong friends even, is something that if you join the club or are part of it, you can definitely expect to walk out of. And so this is the last slide on just the passive FTC, but it's a bit about just the FTC timeline before we transition into our main part of the presentation. And this presentation is a celebration of just over 20 years of FTC and 20 years of the partnership between FTC and STC Florida. And so in 2000, Dr. Applin mentioned this earlier, UCF or FTC at UCF was founded by two students, Erica Olmstead, a graduate student, and Bob Whitley, an undergraduate. And so they formed the club and just created the Future Technical Communicators. And over the years, especially in the years soon after when we got that partnership with STC Florida, the club's foundation was really laid, and a lot of those things have stayed to this day. And so some of the club's accomplishments, since partnering with STC Florida, we maintain educational programs like this one. We host a joint mentoring program where students in our club get connected with professionals from the chapter to really just foster learning in tech comm and get direct benefits that go both ways. And also we try to connect students with jobs and internships. And to this day, we still have the same goals and just the core parts of our programming that we have always had. And those are our flagship programs to this day. But we also do try to incorporate those other events that just help with tech comm skills, allow for networking, things like that. And also we have a larger online presence now, primarily online presence, which has its own benefits. And we're constantly seeking to grow and just, despite everything, just maintain that community that really just fosters just success as a student and success as a future professional. Because that's our goal as a club, what it is and always has been, to prepare everyone for their future careers in tech comm. And so we do the same things back then as we did now, but we're expanding and we're making use of the platform that we're on. And so you can check out our website to learn more about the latest FTC activities. And at the end of the presentation, we also have links to all our different resources like our Discord, our social media, same for STC, and a lot of things along that nature. And so goes into our main presentation. I'm going to pass it on to Jesselyn so she can facilitate our speakers and everything that's going to be presented tonight.
Okay, thank you, John. So now it's time to welcome our FTC alums who are serving as our panelists for tonight's program. All right, we are honored to have experienced professionals in technical communication from different industries here to share their experience in FTC and their careers after graduation. So each presenter will be giving a brief presentations. Please hold your questions until the Q&A following all the presentations, or if you'd like, please put your questions in the chat and John will be keeping an eye on the chat to collect questions for the Q&A session at the end. Up first, we have Bonnie SPIVEY. I apologize if I mispronounce your name, Bonnie, or if I mispronounce anybody's names. I'm doing my best, I swear. So take it away, Bonnie.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm Bonnie SPIVEY. I'm currently the Director of Global Marketing Operations and Project Management at Universal. And although that's my role now, my roots are in technical writing and in FTC. And based on the survey earlier and the slide that just was shown, apparently I'm the oldest FTC president here, which is slightly depressing, but also really cool because we've got 20 years under our belt at this point. I remember in 2002 being interviewed for the lab manager for the tech writing computer lab, Bob Whitley asking me a really odd question. He said, if you could do one thing with this computer lab, what would you do as manager? And I told him I would absolutely start a tech writing club because I just transferred here and there's no clubs for us and I need to meet people. And he said, his jaw dropped and he said, well, that's awesome. And I started one and we were focused on tool skills workshops, but it's kind of gone dormant. So here's the job and here's the keys to FTC. Go forth. It was really a great day, really one of the best days ever. So I ran with it. That brings us to my favorite FTC experience. So our first time getting UCF to pay for our 10 people, many of them on the call today, to get paid flight and accommodations to the STC conference. I think the first one was in Baltimore. I can't even remember, but that was an amazing accomplishment. Yes, Baltimore. It was, a bunch of poor college kids getting to go to their first conference, on the school. So no easy task. So you guys have, I'm sure, still have quite a fight every year to get it, but good luck. I know that's coming up. Also, my favorite memory would have to involve Dan Voss, of course. He was my mentor. And that came to be, in I think, a familiar way to many of your stories, was needing to interview someone for an ST or for a technical writer in the technical writer profession. And so not knowing one, Dr. Flamier recommended I go to STC chapter meeting. So I found my way there. This is before MapQuest. And she said, just ask for Dan Voss. And that was history. He said he would do the interview, but only if I promised to come back to another chapter meeting. So I came back with like 20 students from the newly relaunched FTC, and it was an epic day. So I kept true to my promise and we have stayed in contact, and I've enjoyed one of the most meaningful relationships. So more than just jobs come from being involved in this program and as a mentor on the whole. So I definitely recommend doing that. Favorite STC memory or experience would probably be co-presenting at the annual conference as a student, either with Dan Voss, although the first couple times out of the gate, I think I was so nervous, I barely remember it. It's terrifying. Or with Mark Hannigan. I think it was use cases to user manuals. Wow, this is going way back. It was awesome. Awesome experience. First job after graduation. I actually got before graduation. It was as a technical writer at Disney Cruise Line, and I was recruited via connections that I made at an STC Orlando chapter meeting. So it really is your pathway to network and get real jobs. Work experience highlights. Well, now I have over 20 years at Disney and now Universal, but launching my Magic Plus with the Fast Pass Plus and Magic Band, or the new Volcano Bay virtual line, fully virtual queue water theme park, are a couple. And fun fact about myself, I have 4 summer internships that I am looking to hire. None of them are technical writing exactly, but I don't think that should ever be a limiting factor. 2 of them are in digital asset management, and 2 of them are in the marketing and sales PMO. So both of them are on my team, and you'll be working with amazing people, including Mark Hannigan, who has come out of retirement to mentor and help get my newly formed team for global marketing operations organized. So I hope that, I hear from some of you, and I'll make sure the information is provided to John. So 3 things that I wish I knew before I graduated. I had fun on this slide. Technical writing should not be thought of, or should be thought of, as an innate and essential toolkit, not just an in profession. I feel like if you limit yourself to just searching for technical writer, then you're doing it all wrong. I think Jen alluded to this earlier, and I'm here to say that it is an umbrella of, it's an umbrella of careers. I have had probably 6 completely different named careers in my 20 years, from product manager to business analyst to marketing strategy. The list goes on, and it's all just different applications of the skills that you learn in technical writing. So that's, I think, a great foundation. Single most valuable asset for anyone's career are the quality network relationships they build. And I think that kind of the stories that I just shared with you should attest to that. But it really is the connections that you make and who you're with, not where you go. So those are 2 really important aspects. And then the last thing is to forget about job titles and follow what you're passionate about, because it'll take you to it'll lead you to the correct place. So thank you, everyone. It's great to be here and see all the old familiar faces.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Bonnie. That was really wonderful. All right, everyone, our next presenter is Miss Jen Steelix. You take it away, Jen.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for having me here. And Bonnie, it is so amazing to speak after you. I feel like this is just a real flashback to all the things that we've done in the past together. And this is wonderful to kind of be able to follow up to the things that you said, because it's 100% accurate, that just the things that you've said around networking and mentorship and everything. So I can't wait to speak to those things. As we've talked about a little bit, I am over at Amazon now, but I did graduate from the University of Central Florida's, back then it was called Technical Writing, I believe now Technical Communications program, and really just kind of worked my way through my career from there, and went back to school around 2010, 2011 to get a master's degree in instructional design. So I'll kind of talk about how the career path flowed that way as well. With FTC, so many favorite experiences. The Saturday morning workshops we've been chiming about over here in the chat were definitely a highlight. When I was thinking about this, I was thinking about the lab, because back when Colburn Hall was still a thing, and I seriously had a sad day the day that building was taken down to build up anew. But we had this wonderful, very close-knit kind of group, that because we were all huddled in one room for all of our tech comm classes. And that lab was really my home base. It gave me a place to go and think big about the things I was going to be doing in the future, and get to know technology and do those weekend workshops or gaming activities. We would try to do, like, before you could actually get online and do World of Warcraft, we had to actually get into a lab and put our computers together. And I'm really dating myself. So anyway, so much fun being in the lab, being curious and learning and just growing together as a community. In terms of STC, again, so many amazing experiences. I was so fortunate to get to go not to just one, but to 3 separate STC summits with the FTC and STC community. I kind of came in at just the right time where Bonnie was president and got us the chance to go to Baltimore. The following year, I had the opportunity as president to take us to Seattle. And then as a up and coming graduate, I got to go to Atlanta the following year. And I cannot stress enough how important those events were to my career. Learning how to get out there and network and speak and present. I got to speak with Bonnie for one of the presentations. We did a turnkey package on how to launch out a mentoring program for STC, and that led to so many more conversations and relationships down the road. So those opportunities to get out there and go to the summit, please do not let them pass you by. It's so important, and will be something you remember literally for the rest of your life. My first job after graduation, I think this is probably something you'll probably hear a lot, with the Florida chapter. I was hired up by NBC Universal to start a managerial training program, and I never would have even dreamed of that. I wasn't thinking of myself as a learning experience designer at the time. I was strictly thinking of myself as tech comms, but Cindy Skowinski, one of my fellow STC-FTC members, said, "Hey, Jen, I've worked here before. You'd really like it. I've got contacts over here. Let's go ahead and see if we can get you in on this contract." And from there, that was truly the launch pad for my career. Just being willing to open up and say, yeah, I would love to work on a training program and write about how managers work and how they can operate in handshake processes and things that as a fledgling technical communicator, I had never even begun to think of those things. So that was a wonderful experience. Beyond that, I got to work with Walt Disney World Engineering, Atkins Engineering, Bloomin' Brands, Verizon. I really took the opportunity to contract a little bit because, one, that was, if you wanted to get out and beyond just strictly, Lockheed Martin was one of the big ones at the time. And gosh, I'm trying to remember that was Siemens Westinghouse was another big one. But if you want to get beyond those and into more of the entertainment industry or different industries, contract work was really the way to go back in the day. I don't know the industry as well in Orlando anymore since I've been gone for 5 years, but I do encourage you, think outside of the box. It doesn't have to just be some of the big name companies. Get out there, network, get to know what other types of opportunities, because literally every company that produces written content needs writers. And so that's why this role is so amazing. So fun fact about myself, I love voice acting. It's something I've been passionate about my whole life. And as a technical writer, I've had the opportunity to share my voice in so many different ways, from voicing training videos and programs to announcing at annual awards and presentations, doing even the press one to talk to somebody type of phone thing. So I love doing voiceovers, and I brought that into my work at Amazon, starting a community of voiceover volunteers. And now this community has grown to like 500 people worldwide. And it's something I'm so passionate about. And I'm so happy that as a writer, I had this opportunity to kind of play to my passions throughout my career. So that's a little bit about me. If we want to go to the next slide, the 3 things I wish that I had known and really been able to embrace before getting into my career as a new graduate. So relationships. Bonnie spoke to this so well. Network, get out there. And I said, curate your professional network like a collection of fine art, because it truly is. These are the things that the people you meet, the ideas they have, the job opportunities they bring to the table, it is going to change the course or the paths and options that you have available as a new or early career professional. So make sure that you hold on to those relationships. I still to this day reach out to my mentor from STC, my very first, Gail Lippincott. She is my North Star whenever I'm having I'm not sure which decision I want to make in my career, or, just if I need the gingerbread recipe again at Christmas, she's the person I reach out to. So really curate those relationships. They're so critically important. Then the second one I said is advocate for yourself. And this is something that I was not good at early in my career. I was just out there being a yes person, so to speak, just like, do you want to do this? Yes, I do. Just saying yes as much as I could so that I could get all of those opportunities. But that can lead to fatigue and burnout so easily. So please do think about yourself when you're making your decisions. What are you passionate about? What do you want in life? And that's going to evolve and change over time, but always try to keep on coming back to yourself and thinking about, is this the right decision for me? And do I really want to take on these opportunities? There will always be an endless flow and supply of opportunities within FTC and STC to say, Hey, do you want to help get other people on board? Okay, membership committee. Do you want to write for the newsletter? Okay, there's that memo to members opportunity. So think about what your passions are and really play to those strengths. And then this last piece, choosing your own adventure, I think kind of plays to that as well, but thinking about your opportunities. Do not get stuck in a myopic perspective of, I've been doing this for so long, I have to keep doing it. Adventure is out there, right? And to quote the movie Up, I love thinking about this career because there's literally no company on the planet that I've ever reached out to that didn't need help to redefine their written content or redefine their brand and their strategy. You are completely valuable, and it's so important to think about that in your career. So I've kind of gone over my time, but thank you so much. It was wonderful to talk with you. And please do reach out to me on LinkedIn. I would love to connect with you and see how I can help you get started. If there's anything you'd like to know about Amazon, or more specifically, I'm on the Amazon Web Services side of things, but I have connections all across Audible and ACX and Alexa. So let me know how I can help you get started.
Thank you so much, Jen. That was fantastic. And I want to reach out to you as well. But before I get distracted, our next speaker is Dana GEORGOPOULOS. I hope I'm close to how to pronounce her name, Dana, but take it away. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. You did pronounce my name correctly, so huge points. And thank you so much, John, for organizing this. It's no easy feat to organize such a big meeting. That is one of my memories from FTC and STC, so appreciate it. Again, I'm Dana GEORGOPOULOS. I live over in Dunedin, Florida, so on the West Coast. If any of you are familiar, it's close to St. Pete. I was in FTC, I'm going to say, I don't 100% know if this is correct. I think it's 2008 to 2010, and was vice president and then president in 2009 to 2010. I think a lot of us were there during the recession, so we weren't like as much pushed into the club. We just really wanted to build our resumes and get out there. And it's such a good opportunity for everybody here. Right now, I'm in internal communications and knowledge management. That's a huge field that maybe wasn't as burgeoning when I was in the club, or not something that people knew about, but technical communication really gives you a foundation for a lot of paths like Bonnie and Jen mentioned. So 100% agree with that. And also, John, just I hope you the best with getting the funding for the conference in Chicago. That is also can be challenging. That's one of my memories of FTC as well. We brought 8 people to Dallas, and that was really exciting to see all of the work that goes into that. And I agree, JP, it was interesting that the bowling club got a lot of funding when we're out producing a bunch of career paths for people. I think everybody in FTC got a job after graduation. So that's just critical, especially when we were right after the recession. So can't plug that enough. So during college and right after. So during college, I was in the experiential learning program with Lockheed Martin. So I learned a lot there. I ultimately got a contract job for a few months after graduating, but I don't love that kind of writing, to be honest. So I was fortunate enough that before that, I worked at Bright House Networks. I was an intern there, actually, in their knowledge management department. And they were hiring over in the St. Pete area. I decided to take a job over here, and that led to a lot of opportunities. I'm actually with Suncoast Credit Union right now because of my boss from Bright House Networks jumped over there. So relationships, extremely important. get to know everybody, get on everybody's nice side. It's really helpful for your career. And one of the things that came out of that was working on, while I was at Bright House, working on Telly Award-winning instructional videos. So that was a new learning experience, and those were how-to videos. So you never know where technical communication is going to take you. That was not something I envisioned for myself, but it was just really nice that I landed there. That was a really exciting project where I worked. A fun fact, I guess, I didn't really follow the structure of technical communication here, but I love baking macarons. It's my quarantine hobby. Got really good at that over the pandemic. So fun for stress baking and everything. On the next slide, I made a faux pas of technical writing, I think, because I didn't 100% follow the slides, but this is my career journey, Bright House Networks. In the past couple of years, I also worked at USAA, where I got to learn about a lot about knowledge-centered service and knowledge management. So if you ever want to look into that path, essentially what that is, if you go to a website, call centers are probably the biggest consumer of knowledge management. You look at bite-sized procedural information, and it's continuously getting updated. That's knowledge management. And there's a lot of different things that go into that. Jen can probably talk about that, because a lot of the Amazon products also rely on knowledge management a lot as well. If you're thinking about how like Alexa is structured, she needs bite-sized pieces of knowledge. So a lot of different opportunities there. And then the next slide is more about knowledge management. Probably my biggest passion to come out of my career is just what technical communication gave me, that foundation. So what I mentioned, you create, you organize, have people access and leverage all of the instructional guides, information, conversations, and make sure it's maintained in a manner where people can find it in the right place at the right time. So it's a really exciting career path. And of course, I wish that I knew that it was a big field. I think JD probably mentioned when I said I was going to Bright House Networks, she was like, wow, like that is a big field. And it definitely is. We have our own conference, KM World. And I do wish I learned more about a couple tools, but it is nice that the FTC hosts those events, especially for like the Adobe projects. Those are a really big need. Madcap Flare, I remember my first SPC conference, there were like a bunch of swag, didn't know what that is, but it's a huge product that's used. And then just ask your company if they can pay for stuff you're into. Like I got a certificate in user experience design because I asked and said I was interested in it. So I wish everybody the best. I apologize if I took up a lot of time, but keep in touch. I hope to connect with everybody on LinkedIn, and maybe in person I can come visit.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Like all of our speakers tonight, you did fantastic. So thank you so much for coming tonight. And next we have Rachel SWERTFEGER.
Yep.
So take it away. The floor is yours.
Awesome. Thank you. So kind of like Dana just said, I think it was around 2010, 2011 is when I was in FTC. I know I graduated in 2011, so that's definitely when I was not in FTC anymore. But I know I moved up to UCF around 2009, so I might have joined a little earlier. I don't honestly remember how I came into FTC, but I do remember how I became president. Bethy's cracking up. And that's because I was vice president, and the guy that was president just started ghosting us, and basically told us that he had to move back home to like take care of his like a sick parent or something. He lived in the building next to me, and I saw him on the shuttle to school every day. I can't explain it, but yeah, so I became president. So my favorite FTC experience, I guess, was I put being a mentee, and it was really interesting because I didn't know much about technical communication. I had taken a couple courses. I had taken an introductory course at community college, Indian River State College, and I was like, this seems kind of interesting. I have no idea what it is. And so I joined and got to do the mentee program with Erica, and we worked on the newsletter, and it was kind of the first time I'd ever done a newsletter. I'm like, I know what these are. I guess people have to write these, but I've never really thought about how it's done or how the information's kind of pulled together, and things like that. So it was a really good learning experience to bring it up to date and kind of I think we reworked some of the ways it was like emailed out. I think we switched from some mail service they were using to the MailChimp. Like we did a couple of things like that. Bethy's nodding like, yes, I remember this. So it's really, really interesting to learn and kind of get to take the more of a leadership role in a project that as a student still in college, I felt I had no qualifications to be given like this kind of power. But I really liked it. So that was really good. And then after that, I went on to do some mentoring students through the program. And we've done, I had one girl work on a website that was basically like what is technical communication. So she really enjoyed getting to reach out to everybody and learn more about like what is encompassed by everything that everybody here is talking about, your project management all the way to your knowledge based administration type work, and then the tech writing. So it was really, really fun, and they've been great experiences. As many people, I went out of college and I joined Lockheed Martin. I did a contract. I remember my interview, which was me awkwardly sitting there with some of my writing that I'd done in my college classes, and them going, so do you know how to use X tool? And I was like, nope, but I can learn. And they're like, okay, do you know how to do this? And I was like, nope, but I can learn. And that was basically my whole interview. And then afterwards I walked out, I was like, I'm never getting a call back. They're not going to call me. And then they did like a month later and said, come on in and we're going to take a try on you. And I was there for 3 years, I think. I think it was just shy of 3 years. From there, I went to work at Optum. Most people know Optum RX. They do the prescriptions, but I worked for the knowledge base for the agents who answer the calls for healthcare. So if you have a call about your benefits or how to get in touch with a provider, the agents that are on the phone, I wrote a lot of the scripting, or I would do like updates for the systems, things of that nature. From there, I've gone on to work for a small nonprofit that actually doesn't exist anymore, but we did after school games and homework help for students. Didn't think my writing would come in use there. It did. I wrote the newsletter every month. Yay, newsletters. They come everywhere. I also helped do a couple of, this is something I never thought I would do, but like social media, what do you call it? I can't remember the name of it. It was like social media planning, where I looked over what our social media stats currently were and tried to look for like research ways to boost them to draw in more students to our clubs, basically. So I wrote out a plan for that, like here's like our 5-year plan for our social media goals. That's something my manager wanted me to do. I then went back to Optum, and then actually the last 1.5 years, I have been a stay-at-home mom. So I'm currently out of the technical writing field and maybe looking to go back in the very near future. So yay. I will say my time at Lockheed Martin, I loved what I did, kind of opposite to what I think it was Dana, you said you didn't enjoy. I worked on the manuals, the operator and maintainer manuals, and I really liked it. I like telling people what to do, apparently, in a very straightforward, remove these 12 screws, unplug these wires. If you don't do it right, you're going to electrocute yourself. Please follow these instructions. So I would say that was a really enjoyable job. It just, the commute and everything became a little bit too much. So I wound up having to move a little bit closer. Of course, now everything's like virtual, so who knows? We'll see. Fun fact about myself, I am on a D&D podcast with Bethany, calling you out, and Nick, calling you out, called D&D Rules as Written, where we play D&D and we talk about D&D. So yay, next slide. Roll Squad, exactly. So things I wish I knew, the tools is what I meant by this first bullet. So I wish I knew that what I've learned in college is barely a fraction of what I actually need to know. I guess I put that in the second bubble. But basically, I learned a lot of stuff in college, obviously, but then when I went to Lockheed Martin, I kind of felt like I was thrown into a whole new world, just as far as my, who was going to be using the knowledge, how it needed to be written. Of course, it was DoD, so there's very strict guidelines and there's a lot to learn as far as everything in that wheelhouse, on top of every industry has their own acronyms, and DoD in one place is going to be something completely different to DoD in another place. So what you learn at UCF or your other colleges is like this much of what you're going to end up learning. Keep learning. I wish I had more experience with the tools. Luckily, I actually had a graphic design degree before I went into tech writing, which I think helped me a lot because I was familiar with a lot of the Adobe suite of tools. So when I got to Lockheed Martin, for example, I started with ArborText, which I knew, as I like to phrase it, just enough to be dangerous, where they would point me in a direction. I'd say, oh yeah, I totally know what I'm doing. I had no clue. I had just enough to be able to Google it and figure it out and make it look like I knew what I was doing. So it works. But knowing tools will go a long way. So YouTube, Google, if you're curious in a tool and you can get your hands on a demo, a student version, even if it's just to play around. Yes, I can learn as I can fake it. And then I wish I knew more of the umbrella of technical communication. Like Dana was also saying, or it might have been somebody else, but was saying that like it's a huge field. Just because you're a tech writer doesn't mean you have to do just writing. You can do instructional design or knowledge management. And it looks slightly different from, industry to industry, job to job. Even, my desk to whoever's sitting next to me in the same company. I've had where we were both technically labeled as business analysts, but I did knowledge management and they did something completely different. Just because the way, brackets work and pay scales work and everything like that. So it's a huge, huge world. Don't be afraid to, dive into something that sounds totally not fit for you, but it might end up working out, or you'll at least learn, hey, this isn't where I want to be, but at least now I know what it is. And I know that this isn't something for me. So you guys got this.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Rachel. That's fantastic. All right, next up we have Miss Brittany Cook. Come on down.
Hello. I think everything I'm going to say is echoing what everyone else said, but So hi, I'm Brittany. I'm a senior marketing project manager at Anthem. Most people know them by Blue Cross Blue Shield. I was an FTC from 2010 to 2012. My favorite FTC experience, I think, meeting my mentor, Alex. Hi, Alex. Alex was from my hometown in Sarasota, which I don't know, when you're like away in Orlando is something nice to find. And, you know, he gave me a lot of great advice along the way. And I also made some of my forever friends while I was in FTC. So Bethany and RD and Rachel. I remember being in the tech comm room and seeing Bethany. She was just always in there. And I was like, she seems like she really has her stuff together. Like, I wonder what she's doing. And then I ended up joining FTC and we've been, you know, friends ever since. So that's how I got into FTC. My favorite STC experience, I think, is right now. So like I dabbled a little bit in it, you know, when Alex was my mentor, but now I'm serving as a mentor. So it's very bittersweet and, you know, comes back around. My first job after graduation, just like Rachel, was a contract role at Lockheed. Rachel helped me get that role. So it is all about who you know sometimes. And I did the same thing, editing the maintenance and operating manuals. I was there for like a year and a half. It was not something I wanted to do forever. I like the technical part of it, but I wanted something a little more like meaningful for the community, I think, like something more one-on-one. So after that, I became a proofreader. I was a contractor at WellCare Health Plans. And it was only like a 4-month contract role, proofreading like 300-page benefit manuals. But that turned into me being a communication specialist. And ever since then, I just kind of climbed the ladder until now, being a senior marketing project manager. So, and I'll talk on my other side too, but these contract roles, like others have said, like, don't be afraid to try new things and see if you like it, because it can take you to really unexpected places. And fun fact about myself, I love to sing, and I once auditioned for American Idol. Obviously didn't win because I'm still here, but but I did audition. And what are the 3 things I wish I knew before I graduated? So I didn't really think about this one. The first one I definitely think is, you know, taking those contract positions. I was really bummed when I got out of college and had to take a contract role twice, but it paid off really well. And you really learn what you want to do and what you don't want to do. So the patience pays off. Then a technical communication background can be used for more than technical writing. A lot of others have said that as well. The positions and industries are endless. I never knew that there were, you know, I never thought about the fact that the health insurance had technical documents that have to go to members, or, you know, that you could ever use your tech writing background for that. You know, now I make these little onboarding booklets for new members, and, you know, it really impacts people. And there's all kinds of industries where you don't think about it. Networking is even more important than you think. You never know who will help you or who you will reconnect with over time. Others have said that as well. And I think the great thing is, you know, once you've networked with people and people have helped you, then, you know, you get mid-career and you can help others, and there's no better feeling than that. So feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn.
Awesome. Thank you, Brittany. And like everyone, I apologize. I'm saying the same thing to everybody, but you're all doing a great job. So thank you for doing a great job, everyone. And last but not least, we have Amy Trong. I'm sorry that I said that wrong. I'm sure I did, but thank you and welcome.
Hi, everyone. First, I just want to say thank you to all the amazing women that preceded me. It's so inspiring to hear your stories about how you started off in FTC and where your careers are now, because I am fresh into my career as a tech writer. I graduated from UCF I originally graduated, I think 2017, with my journalism degree. Didn't really want to do that. So went back to school the next semester for tech comm, because I still wanted to do writing. And Dr. Applin, in one of my classes, mentioned the club. And I'm the kind of person that I will try to figure out anything that I can do to get a job. I only had one goal in mind, and every single FTC meeting and every single STC meeting that I was a part of, I always let anyone there know that I wanted a job after, like, out of this. And I got one from the club, but I'll mention that later. My favorite FTC experience is the first one where I met my mentor, Dave. I love Dave. Dave is such a kind person, and he was so helpful. He gave me so many resources on this, I have it on my desk, this little flash drive that I still use to this day. I still look through it. You know, there's comics in here that I still giggle at. So yeah, it was such a great experience being paired up with Dave. And then to bring it all around, when I became president after Andy, I remember sitting in an IHOP, the one on University, with Dan and Misty, assigning mentors and mentees. And it just felt so awesome to be able to, like, analyze who we had in the club and analyze who we had in STC and see how they could fit together, and, like, kind of picture the kinds of conversations that they could have together, and based on interest, and see, you know, in a small way, like, where their careers could go after that meeting. And so it was very, very nice for me to be able to do that and to really give back to the club that gave so much to me. So that leads to the second one, which is my favorite STC experience. It was every time we pick the mentor and mentees, we have a dinner where we used to have a dinner pre-pandemic where we would reveal the pairings. And it was really nice to see everyone's faces when they found out who they were paired with, and to start hearing the little conversations that were happening, you know, as they were meeting each other. So that was really nice. A little bow tie at the end of my my time at FTC. The first job I got after graduation, I got before I graduated, thanks to Misty, who was working at this company called GHT. And she let me know that they were doing a kind of open house job fair thing within their little conference room. And she told them about me and a few other people from the club that we were new grads looking for our first job. And she was able to put in their ears, like, little things about us. She barely knew me, you know. We had probably spoke just a few times, and she still said, "Oh, Amy's great. She's so smart. She's so hardworking," which all of those are true. But it was really nice of her to do that. And it just really goes to show you how important networking is, and being a part of a club like this, because you never know, like, who's going to be in your corner fighting for you to get, you know, a job, or putting in ears of important people, you know, so that they can focus in on you. So that was very nice. That's not, I don't know what happened there with the text, but first job after graduation was not Lockheed Martin. No. I just finished my 2.5 years at GHT, and I just started a new role as a tech writer at Phoenix Defense. So still within DoD, still doing maintenance and operations manuals though. So that's the same. And my work experience highlight. What did I put? Oh, just that I'm starting my second job. Yeah, it's kind of cool to graduate in 2019, get my first job, and then I'm already on, like, the second leg of my, not really the leg because it just started, but just my second path. I think is really cool, and I'm very proud of myself that I got here. And you should celebrate yourself in these small milestones, because they're very important to keep you going. So fun fact about myself, I just got a new dog. He's a Chow Chow, and he's a rescue, and he doesn't like me as much as he likes my husband. And my toxic trait is that I like to chase after dogs' affections. And so when he's just walking past me, I'm just treat, treat, treat. you know, you get a treat, you get a treat. So that is what I've been spending my time doing when I'm not working, is trying to win over this little guy's heart to this side. And 3 things I wish I knew. So I thought this was difficult because it's still so fresh. But so where I'm at now in my career, I wish I took, I'm gonna jump over. I wish I just took so much more advantage of the stuff that UCF offers. Like they had, I think, a subscription to like a huge like knowledge base where you could learn coding, you could learn project management, you can learn anything. It was kind of like Google certificates, but like for UCF. And I wish I just would have taken it, anything that I can get, anything that was free, I would have just done. But I think I was just too focused on trying to get an A in Dr. Aplin's class instead of, it's so hard to get those A's for his class. Another thing, so I'm trying to learn coding now because for me, that's where I want to go. And that's the kind of jobs that I'm looking for. They highlight a lot of coding experience like Python and of course, XML. We're doing XML now, but just like understanding the basics of coding is very important. So I wish I would have latched onto that and used the free Oxygen software that UCF had just there for you to use in the lab, because we're using that now. And I'm just, you know, you're learning a new program and it's a little bit difficult. Lastly, I wish I had more practice interviewing and planning out responses to common questions. So because I just got my latest job, I've had to interview at a couple of places and it was just like, oh my gosh, like you think you've got everything planned and they just come out with these questions like from left field that you just don't think about, and you have to be composed. And, you know, I wear my heart on my sleeve, so I'm just like talk. And that's not always what they want to hear. So I wish I would have taken advantage of reaching out to some of like the mentors at the time to practice that before I got to this stage. But, you know, you could still do it. I could still do it since I'm still pretty early on in my career. So I just want to end by saying, please take advantage of this club, the people in this club. Definitely. I mean, I'm not in a position to hire you right now, but give me a few years and I will be back here to see if I can get any of you a job in any way I can, because that is the point of this club. And I think we're all so lucky to be on the same, like, you know, on the same page. We all want to help each other. We all want to see what we can do to bring everybody up together. So take advantage of the club, take advantage of your school, and be nice to everyone that you meet. You never know how that comes back. And that's it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Amy. That was fantastic. Thank you to all of our speakers. You guys, I'm saying the same thing over and over again tonight, but you were all amazing. I legitimately mean that. So I'm going to hand this off. I'll hand it back to John for our Q&A session.
So thank you again to everybody who spoke, just to all of you, both through leadership and in your careers and just hearing your favorite experiences. It was all just fantastic to hear. And so I want to transition into Q&A. And since it is getting close to the end of our meeting time, I'll just drop 1 or 2 moderated questions, which hopefully are good for everybody to hear from. And the first is, what are some of the benefits of being new to the technical communication field? And anybody can hop into that.
I'll hop in. Being new, I think some advantages to that is you don't have any of the, well, it was done this way at my previous job, or it was done this way, you know, at this company or anything like that. You have literally no frame of reference. And this is coming from somebody who's worked on kind of both sides, where I didn't have that knowledge and I have had that knowledge. And I've worked with people who both didn't and did. And like not having the knowledge can be a hindrance, but it also gives you a lot of wiggle room to learn and improve. You don't have to, like, if I tell you how to do something like a certain way and you go, hey, why are you doing it that way? This way's quicker. You might know a tip or trick or a hotkey or something in the program that I never learned. So yes, it can be a hindrance, but I think there's a lot of advantages because you won't necessarily just, well, I did it this way for X years at this other company. So it's really great to, just keep plowing around, even if it's not the most effective or most, up to standards way. So that's my thoughts.
All right, thank you for that, Rachel.
I think I would just say the benefit is that you're so excited. So you live off that like high of wanting to do anything, learn everything, impress everyone, and you're always game to reach for an opportunity. That's how I felt at my first job. Any meeting that I could lead, I led it. Any book that I can get my hands on, any project, I wanted to be a part of it. I wanted to know about everyone's projects. And it helped me so much to lean into every possible thing that was happening. And it was because I was so new and I wasn't bogged down with life yet.
Right. Thank you, Amy. And does anybody else want to hop into that?
Hey, John, I'll chime in. This is Bonnie. I think you have the new card. The power of the new card is legit. People don't see you as a threat. People are willing to help you. And, you genuinely can ask anyone for anything, and you should take full advantage of that. Use the new card. And I think you get that for at least like 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, definite power in the new card. And yeah, that will definitely help. Always feel free to ask questions. That's one tip that I've heard. And so that is great advice. Right, any last comments?
Hi, Lori here. Alex, I just wanted to ask, have both Distinguished Service Awards been presented now?
Yes.
Yes,
they were.
They were.
They have
I'm
both
glad you
been
could join
presented.
back.
Oh, well, thank you very much. I'm glad it lasted this long. I just wanted to say, well, 2 things. One, I have learned a lot about FTC. It's a wonderful organization for people who are still students and learning about the tech comm profession. It is a terrific resource, and I'm really happy for all of you that it's available at UCF. I wish we had something like that when I was in school. We didn't even have a tech comm program back when I was in college. So this is really a wonderful resource, and you're all doing a fantastic job in keeping it up and keeping it active and relevant. The second thing, Nick, this is for you. I'm sorry I missed the presentation of your award. But once again, as with John, it was my great honor to be the nominator to represent our chapter for this award for you. It's been wonderful working with you. My first experience working with you as a leader was with you and Bethany when you started, we decided to have a workshop about visualizing your career development. And you had wanted me to participate and give some advice and just do some overall consulting. And I was thrilled and honored to be invited with that. And even though I was seriously ill at the time, you allowed me to participate the best I could. And you were very patient as I kind of limped along with you, trying to contribute anything I could. And the workshop was very successful. And the chapter gave me an absolutely wonderful award called the Spotlight Award for participating in this workshop. And so I'm very, very grateful to you both. And Nick, I know you have a fantastic history of service with the chapter. You have such technical knowledge that has benefited the chapter greatly. It's been my pleasure and honor to meet you and work with you. And once again, heartiest congratulations and thank you for all of your contributions.
That's so sweet. Thank you, Lori. And I do want to say in return that it's always a joy working with you, and I appreciate your words so much, and I look forward to continuing to work with you here as fellow members of the chapter.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you too.
All right, and thank you, Lawyer, for that. Just for everything, and for, of course, just being able to come back and just have your presence in the chapter and in FTC too. It's always fantastic. And since it is getting close to 8:30, we are running close to time, so we may not be able to ask a lot more questions. Although I did think this up just in case. If anybody has any questions that they may want to ask following the meeting to any of our presenters, would you be open to either being connected to on LinkedIn for it or being emailed separately if there are any questions?
Definitely.
Okay, fantastic. And in the chat, there are each of the LinkedIn profiles for each of our speakers. They're composed in our STC Florida's Memo to Members article, each of the 6 with their bios and LinkedIn profiles. And also, I wanted to send this out before we do our official close off, which is a post-meeting poll. One moment while I pull that up. Here we go. So that is a poll for really anybody here, or especially everybody here, to take part of. And it's just to put in your information and to respond to your experiences for this meeting. And I also added a section, since we're getting close to time, if you had any questions that you want to ask the presenters. And then possibly after the meeting, we can pull them together and forward them to the presenters and see if we can collect responses that way. Maybe publish them for everyone or send it to you individually. But either way, please do take a look at that post-meeting survey. It's just a handful of questions, 2-3 minutes. And also, there are a couple other sections in that form as well, which I wanted to just draw your attention to. There is, of course, things like how you heard about this event, so on and so forth, what you thought of this event, any questions you'd like to ask panelists for after the meeting. And also, this is something that we have been thinking of and just considering. We're considering having an in-person reunion sometime in the future, since a few, both presenters and members expressed some interest in that. So for anybody who may be comfortable or interested or in the area, all of the above, we wanted to just see, who might want to go to something like that. So I just put a quick question on the poll of, would you be interested in going to an in-person event? Maybe we could have just one big FTC reunion social, kind of like a high school reunion. And like this format, but just for socializing. So definitely keep an eye on that and look into the poll. And that
Oh
would
yes,
be,
Bonnie. Fiddler's Green, please. That's our vote.
yeah, a lot of fun times could be had. And so this might be something in the coming months. We will definitely look into it. We're just gauging interest for now.
I
And
could definitely do it in January.
okay, maybe it's something we could have a couple of times, just for whoever's comfortable. Maybe one time in the coming months, one time next year. We will see. But yeah, just let us know if you're interested on that form. And so with that being said, do any of the presenters or members have any last things that they want to share before we close things off?
I'm really glad that my phone held out and enabled me to stay for the meeting. So thanks for your patience while I struggled to get online.
John and Jessalyn, I just want to say what a great job you did. I remember when you were first floating this idea, and I thought it was great, and I knew it would be really hard to pull off. And you just wanted to say what an excellent job you did.
I agree completely. You made it feel effortless. And I always learn from you, John, always. So thank you once again for being a teacher.
Thank you, Jessica and Lori, and thank you, Jesselyn, too, for co-hosting. And there was, yeah, it's just really great to see everybody together. I love this. I just love the fact that this is a thing, to just play it straight, seeing everybody here and just having everybody present from across the time in FTC. And I wish we had more time, but I don't want to hold everybody up for too much longer. But we do have our Discord, we have our social media, and we'll be posting links to that and sending out updates to anybody who's here. So definitely connect on that. And anybody's welcome to our Discord too, no matter where you are. Just hop in, say hi, we chat, we post updates, we post some memes and pictures of our pets too, which I'm pretty sure I saw some recently, like during this meeting too, which I gotta say, I always love the pet pictures. They always feel free to hop in there. We'll be sending update emails, and especially for everybody who signed our sign-in sheet, we'll be reaching out. Remember to sign our form for the post-meeting survey. Any questions that you may have for presenters and any ways that you want to connect with us, feedback about today's meeting, and so on and so forth. And I think it's a testament to how amazing our speakers were, that we're not just running short on time, we're running past time. Just so many great things being said. I feel like this could fit into an even longer meeting. But yeah, let's close off for today with so many amazing things being said, and just really fantastic people and leaders all around. I just thank you to everybody. And I want to open it up in case anybody wants to say any last thing before we close off for the night.
Sure. Can I say something? I didn't introduce myself. I'm Bethany Aguad. I'm the Florida chapter president. I got called out for being a nerd, I think, earlier in the presentation. I am so glad this event happened, and I have so many amazing memories of FTC and forever friends from FTC that we're still in each other's lives outside of being tech comm. So it means a lot to see people here today. Can I be that obnoxious person that's like the mom who says, can we take a group picture? It will be a snag it, but I'd like to have that. It's nice to see everyone who's comfortable coming on camera, if you could. I cannot promise it will be perfect, but I will do my best, by which I mean I will take multiple screen captures to try to get the best overall one. So if you all don't mind, give me one moment to get my Snagit up. I have to always say this meeting is not sponsored by Snagit because I never get through a meeting without referencing Snagit, my favorite product.
It should sponsor us though.
It's become a running joke.
Seriously, I think that's the one thing that everyone should know before they graduate from the tech comm program.
Right? And it's so cheap, you guys. You should learn
Yes.
Snagit.
Yes. You cannot
Next
live
meeting,
without it.
next meeting, Bethany, you're gonna show up with a Snagit background.
Yeah. Sponsored by TechSmith.
You should ask. I mean, it
Yeah,
wouldn't hurt to ask.
You know, that was
Yeah.
how we decorated the Tech Comm Lab back in the day. I would reach out to TechSmith and Adobe and all these. I'm like, will you send me a poster for the lab? And then they were like, yeah, and we'll do a workshop, or yeah, and we'll send you t-shirts. So do that. Make those connections.
We got free stuff from Madcap. I've still got a Madcap Flare t-shirt, which is incredibly cool, obviously.
Oh yeah.
All right.
My new company did ask me why I was using Snagit, and I did just kind of stare for a while. I was like, what am I not using it for? Why would you ask me that question?
Does a day go by that you don't use Snagit?
Like, what is that for? I was like,
everything.
Life, everything. Why?
It'd be like asking, do you use your email?
Yeah. do you type? Yeah.
All right. Thank you, guys. I think everyone who want to come on is coming on. So I won't do like exactly a countdown, but if you could all smile, I'm gonna do my best to take pictures. So taking pictures now. Sorry, there's no sound effect for when I actually take a screen capture, and I don't want to make one. It'd be too weird. So thank you for please smiling. Okay, that looks great. Thank you, guys. It's nice to be able to have, I know we can't do like the group pictures where we all awkwardly lean at different heights. Obviously the thing I miss most during the pandemic. But thank you all for being here, and thanks to John and Jesselyn for being our MCs and all of our panelists. You guys were great. I know we went a little bit over time, but it was a great meeting, and glad to see some other faces from the past. Thank you for coming, and hopefully we'll see you again in the future.
Have a good night, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Night, everyone.
Night, everyone.
Thank you.